Hey you, I'm Andy Powell. Welcome to the Allcast Podcast. No topic is off the table. I hope you enjoy. You mumble a lot?
I do.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Being able to hear yourself in the headphones helps.
It does, and just understanding that it can be listened to repeatedly and just like, wait, what did he say? what was said?
Yeah. It's nice to be able to hear yourself talk sometimes.
Yeah. I remember being younger and like hearing my voice in a recording or something, like, ew, I don't like that. Like a lot of people, like they hate their sound of their voice for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm like conscious of my breathing right now because I have a hard time. Like, there's this weird, like, whenever I've been like sleeping next to a girl, I have so much focus on my breathing because I don't want to. I think there was one time, I don't remember who it was, but they made a comment of like, you breathe so heavy, and that stuck with me for so fucking long.
Girl, you got me hot and bothered. What do you want? Yeah.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
You are recording. Oh man, Andrew, what's up, brother?
John. This is Brother John. What's happening, man?
Not much, man. Just grateful to be here, to be alive, to have this experience, and thanks for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to make it happen, but moving up to Utah. Today's the last day in Arizona.
It is.
So, good timing.
Yeah. It's just the way it was meant to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have a car for a good while.
Yeah.
Well over a year, like 2 years? I don't remember, honestly.
I don't think it's quite 2 years, but with the way time flies we were talking about earlier, it may have been 2 years.
Yeah. So it's nice to, just how everything has unfolded. It's put me here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have this chance to do this and see what comes up.
Yeah. We were talking about breathing. The in basic training in the military, or at least when I was in there, the drill sergeants make up nicknames for people, mm-hmm. or like certain phrases that they'll associate them with. And one of the guys, he'd call him Flytrap because his mouth was always open. And he'd be breathing, or they'd call you a mouth breather.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard has come out of the mouths of drill sergeants.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to laugh because you're supposed to be disciplined. But
do you think that's like an intentional thing?
I think for sure it's definitely there to mess with you.
Yeah,
yeah,
just trying to like break you.
Yeah, and it's because it's not always derogatory. Or it's not always meant to break you down.
Okay.
But it's always meant to like disrupt you in some way.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can listen to them say some of the funniest insults you've ever heard and not laugh, like you're good to go.
Man,
but then people will crack a smile and they'll start to laugh, and then you'll get smoked.
Oh man, what was like a typical punishment for cracking?
So, I don't know, it's typical in other groups, but we had a particular drill sergeant that would make us do the inchworm. And
what's that?
The inchworm is something, so you know what a downward dog is in yoga?
Right.
So if you start in the downward dog position and you have to like one finger at a time, or like one hand at a time, you inch your way. 1 inch on the right, then 1 inch on the left, then on the right, the left. You're inching your hands out away from your body into the push-up position.
Okay.
And then once you get there, you have to inch your feet all the way up so that you're back in that like A-frame shape.
Yeah.
And so we had these long hallways in the barracks, and somebody would fuck up, and he would say, he would bring him to the office, and he would like shout down the hall, "Bring me Powell! Powell, get your ass over here!" whoever it was,
Yeah.
fly trap, bring me fly trap. And he would have a bullhorn sometimes, and he'd say, "This is what you did. Now inchworm my motherfucking hallway.
Damn.
Go." And then they would do it for almost every time. It's longer than they could do it for.
Yeah.
They would fail, and then he'd make them like start over,
Oh man.
over and over again. And
How long do you think it would take if you succeeded not failing, just like going straight through?
from one end of the hall to the other,
Yeah.
probably like 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking like an hour.
No, but you'd have to do it, 5-10 times.
Right.
Or until he was satisfied or he wanted to go home.
How old were you when you enlisted into was it the Army?
Yeah. 17.
Okay.
It was like 2 months after I turned 17.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
I had no thoughts of that when I was 17 in the slightest.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to get in girls' pants.
Yeah. Well, that was there too, but I had a girlfriend at the time when I enlisted, and she broke up with me because I was about to go out of state, and I was devastated because I had not considered that she might break up with me because I'm leaving for the Army. I thought,
Really?
This is like the noble, honorable thing to do. She can only be more attracted to me if I do this thing.
She must wait.
Nope. She's like, that's not going to work for me. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's fair. That's a more loving thing to do.
Yeah, I suppose so. I didn't see it that way at the time, and
Well, yeah.
probably never really. I mean, it was good for her. It was what she needed to do for herself at the time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess it's better than like her knowing already this isn't going to work and then going along with it, and then you're already there and like,
Yeah.
hey, this isn't working.
yeah, that happens to a lot of dudes in the Army where they'll be like out on deployment and they'll get cheated on, and they'll come.
Yeah.
It's sad, man, how much that happens. I just feel really bad because you already got guys that are down in the dumps,
Right.
and then something like that happens. Or
That's rough.
yeah,
And how long did you enlist for?
just under 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Man, so what, like 23? Or no, I'm sorry. 21?
Yeah, I actually got out like just before my 21st birthday, or a little while before. So the whole time I was in, I couldn't legally drink at all. 17 to almost 21.
Did you go hard when you got out and you turned 21?
Well, I went hard before I turned 21. It was, I had my first time drinking alcohol was like Malibu rum.
Okay. Lucky.
And I had some guy, was like, "Hey, we're gonna go over to Meyer's house, and you want some alcohol?" And it's like, "What do you want?" All right, give me this much money. I was like, "Yeah, give me Malibu rum."
Oh, so you chose it.
I chose, yeah, it was like banana flavored or coconut rum of some kind, and I don't remember why I chose that, but I just remembered like, oh, this is gonna taste really good.
Okay.
So I remember that night, my buddy Colton was taking care of me because I drank almost this whole bottle of Malibu.
How old are you?
17.
Okay. Is this before the Army?
No, this is right after I got to my duty station.
Okay.
So I went to basic training, then got assigned to a duty station, went there, and then got
Hammered.
hazed into the platoon. Got welcomed into the platoon, and this was one of the ways that they did it before we deployed. It was like, oh yeah, go over to this guy's house, we're gonna drink, go house party, right?
Oh, man.
Drank all this Malibu rum and ended up like just puking my guts out. I was like hugging the toilet, hanging on, and my buddy Colton, he's standing there eating like a chicken drumstick in one hand and recording me with his phone in the other hand.
What a bastard.
No, but it was so funny, dude. And then other guys are like passed out asleep, and they're drawing dicks on their faces, and they're like tying their shoes together and all this stuff. This like ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't never really experience any kind of that stuff when someone gets super passed out. I mean, I've seen some dicks drawn on the face, but that's about probably the extent.
Yeah.
Man, the first time I got drunk, I was actually in third grade. If you will.
Third grade.
Yeah, third or fourth grade, hanging out at my uncle's house. They had like a family gathering, and A lot.
How old are you in third grade? Like 9, 8?
I think you're like 9.
Huh.
9, 10.
Okay.
8, 9, 10, around that range.
Yeah.
But I'm no scientist. But yeah, I had my older cousin Nino. He grabbed a bottle of some Jose Cuervo Gold, and went upstairs, went to his room, and he poured a shot, and then he gave it to me and said, "Drink this." I took a sniff. Ew, I don't want to drink this. If you don't drink this, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Damn. Would he have?
We just had the bottle.
No, would he have beat your ass?
Oh,
if you didn't drink it, or is he just messing with you?
I don't know. I don't think necessarily like beat my ass, but he probably like would have like gave me a few punches or whatnot.
Yeah,
you know. And I was definitely way more of a wuss when I was younger.
Okay, so there's a proper incentive to get you to drink it.
Exactly. He knew what to do.
Yeah,
and he was only like 2 years older than me, so it's not like he was 17 or or anything. Like, I don't know.
Oh, so it's like an 11-year-old telling a 9-year-old, "Hey, drink this Jose Cuervo."
Yeah, or I'm gonna beat your ass.
That's a horrible.
So,
oh my god.
After taking like 3-4 shots in a small period of time, I don't think they were back to back, but I ended up having to call my mom because I was so fucking sick. Mom, can you come pick me up? Are you fucking drunk? No, I just don't feel good. That's all I kept saying. I just don't feel good. And then when she picked me up and took me home, that's all she was saying in the car. You're fucking drunk. I just don't feel good.
Oh, man.
It was bad. It was, it was not a good time.
So how long after that until the next time you got drunk or drank alcohol?
Man, I don't know. It's I think like every now and then on like New Year's Eve, or like, that kind of like pops in my head, like sneaking a sip of beer or whatever, like my parents were drinking.
Okay.
But the time I remember getting drunk, it's probably definitely in high school sometime, like my sophomore year.
Okay, so after that, you weren't like seeking it out or getting offered it anymore.
No. That was just the first incident, which is honestly, because it was tequila, I'm surprised that tequila is my choice this day. Like, I'd rather just drink on tequila than like a beer or anything.
Yeah. But probably not Jose Cuervo, huh?
No, that shit's trash.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff's nasty, man. I remember the first time I tried good tequila, I was like, this is why people like it.
Yeah.
It's smooth and like it's got a little zing to it.
Yeah, I've actually been told before that tequila is the only alcohol that is not a depressant.
Interesting. That doesn't surprise me because a guy I know who's really good at nutrition, like when I say good at nutrition, he knows a ton more than me about how stuff works in the body and all that. He says that tequila, a good white tequila, is the cleanest alcohol you can put in your system.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love tequila. It's great. I used to have to. It's weird. I don't know if it's just because like my size of how I am. I'm a bigger guy. I'm sure that plays a factor in it, and just kind of like my family's lineage of substance usage, if you will.
What lineage is that?
I don't know what the correct word is. Like just my family history, if a better fit.
Okay.
I just like come from.
Are you Irish?
No. I guess that would be a lineage, but like there's a lot of like substance abuse in my bloodline.
Yeah. Okay, so you're just talking about your family.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that and like my size, I've always just been able to consume more of just general substances, and
Yeah.
But I don't know why I brought that up. I think I was talking about drinking. I used to drink a lot. I'm capable of drinking a lot of beer. But I don't like it. It makes me feel super bloated.
Oh yeah.
It's not a good time. So it's nice to drink tequila and I can have a few glasses versus like a fuck ton of beers.
Yeah.
And get a cleaner effect, if you will, too.
Oh yeah. Not feel like crap, or at least not as much, I guess, depending on if you mix it or anything like that. Yeah. Beer. I've kind of written off beers. I haven't had a beer in quite some time, and I don't really drink wine very much either.
I like wine.
I like wine too, but I don't really ever seek it out.
Okay.
if I drink, usually it's going to be whiskey or tequila. And about half the time it's mixed with something, and then the other half it's just ice cubes.
Yeah.
And it's nice because it doesn't. Cocktails, like a well-made cocktail, if it tastes great, it can be really easy to overdo it.
100%.
Like a chocolate martini or something.
I've never had that.
Oh man, they're delicious.
That doesn't sound very appealing to me.
No, you don't like sugary drinks?
No, I've had enough hangovers from the sugary stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Those are the worst.
Yeah.
Bro, that's not the business for me.
Yeah. I think in the Army, the guys would always they would shit on me for wanting these like fruity drinks or whatever.
'Cause they taste great.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, well, it tastes really good and it gets you intoxicated. What's the downside? It's pink? Okay. Yeah.
No, it's that fucking hangover the next day.
Oh yeah, that's the roughest stuff.
Man, I think I've had the worst hangovers I've had have come from Jaeger,
Ooh.
IPA, and like a hard night of using blow.
Yeah.
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 It's
In conjunction with alcohol or just in general, just blow by itself?
I think more so with the it's I just super dehydrated. So yeah, I'd be doing blow and then drinking.
Okay.
And not drinking any fucking water, and
And then, smoking cigarettes on top of that.
oh my god.
The,
And then
the trifecta of, oh, fuck me.
dude, it's crazy to have enough experiences where I can see like I'm starting to feel the headache, so I'll just start chugging water and for the rest of the night, and the next day that hangover's not there.
Yeah.
Because that hangover fucking sucks a lot. Just like edibles, that hangover fucking sucks too. An edible hangover. If I eat edibles too late at night and then I go to sleep, I wake up still like not even really high, just so lethargic,
Like out of it.
and groggy, and it's for like the whole day,
Yeah.
and I just can't snap out of it. Like one time I woke up and took Goku and Chi-Chi out, my dogs, for a walk in that apartment. That was the second story. And walking around the neighborhood, and I'm literally falling asleep while I'm walking.
Yeah.
That shit is but it's not painful, it's not like an alcohol hangover.
No, but it's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy.
No.
All you do want to do is sleep.
I don't know if I've ever had an edibles hangover.
It's different. Like if you eat it too late at night, for me personally, I know some other people, you eat it too late at night and you just wake up the next day and it's just like super low energy, really groggy. You just can't like get started.
I don't think I've had that with edibles. I have taken edibles late at night, but my experience in that is that like I'll wake up in the middle of the night really high
Yeah.
and be like, oh, this isn't good. And then I'll probably be awake for a while. That's happened a few times.
Okay.
Or I'll try to go to sleep, but I'm like, I close my eyes and I'm, seeing stuff, and my thoughts are really bright.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's not good either way. Anytime I've taken any psychoactive of any sort late at night, it's just not been good.
Not been good, just like in general, or like in terms of like trying to get to sleep or sleeping.
Both. It's been, okay. Well, with edibles, it's just like what I described. But then with anything other than edibles, it's been super. How do I say this? Uncomfortable. Okay. It's been like extreme discomfort because I know like, oh, I'm already kind of tired. Really, I should probably just go home and go to sleep. But, oh, my friends they're about to eat some mushrooms. And that's going to be a good time. And I don't want to miss out on that good time. Or I don't want to miss out on that, like, that deep connection you have with people in that space.
Right.
So I make the unhealthy choice and do that. And then it's like, oh, now I'm, like, stuck in a loop.
Yeah. Super tired. Because usually, too, we've been working all day. Before that, we exerted a bunch of energy, and by the time we're taking whatever it is, it's laid out already. And it's like, for me, if I take any kind of like psychedelic mushrooms, LSD, or like MDMA or anything, and if I take that like 7, 8 o'clock p.m., I know I'm up for the rest of the night. It doesn't matter. It always. There's actually only been one time I've been able to, I don't remember. I think it was some mushrooms. Take some mushrooms and pass out because I was so exhausted from just the day. And I think I took a shower or ate some mushrooms, took a shower, laid in my bed and passed out. And then I woke up already in the water of the mushroom experience. Like that was really nice. I got to just skip
the come up.
Yeah, the come
Yeah,
up.
that's cool. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I've had a hard time with the come up since I took those 7 grams of mushrooms, fasting for 36 hours, because like I don't know, my stomach just absorbed it so fast. But anytime after that, if I were to take a large quantity, I have to really work through that come up, and it takes a little while until like I'm in the water of it. I'm like, okay, I can breathe now. I can chill a little bit, and so I think that experience has really dictated on like how I go into it. So instead of doing just like a large dose right in the beginning, I've learned just to take a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. It's easier for me to walk into it. Like I don't have that super uncomfortable feeling that I have to work through.
So do you experience that with things other than mushrooms like LSD?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not necessarily your stomach digesting the fungus that
Yeah.
causes that discomfort.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's the moving from this place into a place that is in conjunction with the spiritual place.
Right. Yeah. It's been like that with mushrooms, LSD, MDMA, MDA. It's like if I just notice if it's too much right off the bat, I have work to go through, and it's maybe probably like a solid hour until I feel comfortable, and then I can kind of like mingle and talk and communicate. Because during that hour, people talk to me, I'm not really receptive on anything.
Yeah.
Just kind of like working through it so I can get through it as fast as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun.
But let's talk while we're here. I'm curious. I know you told me before, but tell me again, please. When was the first time you took any kind of psychedelic, and how did you get there?
Oh, yeah, okay. Good. We'll lead into your 7-gram story. I wanted to get retold to me.
Cool.
The first time I ever took mushrooms, kind of leading up to that, was like, I grew up not touching anything till I was in the Army. Then I tried cigarettes and alcohol. And then once I was out of the Army, I had gone to school. I'd completed school, got a job in the industry I went to school for.
What school did you go to?
I went to motorcycle mechanic school.
Okay, that's right.
And then I got a job, in that industry, and was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm good to go. I can finally try weed
Yeah.
now, because I had seen from before, like having a roommate that smoked a bunch of weed, and was like, this was my best friend growing up, one of my best friends growing up.
Right.
And he was like, he was a wise person.
Yeah.
The things he said made sense.
Okay.
He helped me see things a different way, and it was a very clear indicator that what he's doing is doesn't seem like a bad thing. So maybe I can't become a cop. I was going to be a police officer, and through that experience with him, I realized I can't enforce a law against this thing.
Yeah.
Therefore, I wouldn't be a very effective cop, because it made me think, well, there's probably a bunch of laws that I disagree with. Okay. Therefore, I can't feel good about enforcing laws.
Okay.
That are
that makes sense.
Unjust.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the intro. Finally ended up smoking weed, got super anxious. I was smoking a lot of cigarettes and drinking alcohol during that time in my life. So that first time smoking weed made me really aware of the negative effect of the alcohol and the cigarettes on my body.
Man.
And so immediately I was like, woke up and was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm destroying myself. So then I quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey, quit drinking alcohol cold turkey. And then for the next few weeks I had like like all this buildup in my lungs. It was brown and green phlegm. I was coughing up and spitting out.
Yeah.
And then, like smoking the weed, I continued doing it, and it cleaned out my lungs from the cigarette, like the tobacco buildup.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind. I was like, imagine that.
And you were 21?
I was 22.
22?
And during that time, I had a roommate named Mike. What's up, Mike? Mike Iskech. Oh, wait, I should pull that out. My roommate, Cut.
Can you mark it?
My roommate, Mike, had showed me some things. Like he had reiterated to me that something about Joe Rogan, which I wasn't aware of at the time. Somebody told me about it before. My roommate that smoked weed before had told me about that, as well as Tool, the band.
Okay.
And then I go and have this other roommate who does the same thing. He tells me about Tool and he tells me about Joe Rogan. So I'm like, he's like, hey, you got to listen to this.
Yeah.
So he sent me a podcast with Joe Rogan and Aubrey Marcus.
Okay.
That was like the first one I listened to. It was episode 285 or somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, what? He was telling his story about coming back from Peru and doing ayahuasca. And so I was like, my curiosity was very piqued. And so then me and my roommate Mike talked about mushrooms. And
have they done it, I'm assuming?
He had never done it,
okay,
but he wanted to. And so he was trying to get me to be his mushroom buddy for his first time go. And so we ended up doing that together for the first time for both of us. And we had a cat at the time, and it was very strange. Yeah. Because I didn't know what we were supposed to do or what it was for.
Right.
I just heard stories about, like, this is what it should be like. But by the end of it, I thought that I was communicating with the cat telepathically. And maybe I was. I don't know.
Probably. Who knows?
But But it was wild. I remember, like, I don't know if I'd call it artwork, but I was like writing things down on the paper and drawing and kind of doodling and stuff like that. We'd probably played some music. But it was just in our living room at the time of that house that you know.
Okay.
With the pool.
Yeah. Over by what, Ironwood?
No. This was downtown Peoria, near downtown Peoria.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So that was the first experience.
Nice.
Yeah, and the biggest takeaway from it, I think, was that I could kind of see the interconnectedness of things.
Okay. Nice. I didn't get that my first time at all. My first time I was 19.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was 19. I was staying with this family for a little while because I got kicked out / left my house. It was right after high school. And I was helping the dad of the family paint some houses that he had some jobs for. And then one day this chick Haley hit me up and said, hey, I have some mushrooms I have some shrooms if you know anyone that wants them. Well, I didn't know anyone. I said, fuck it, I'll take them. And I didn't know.
Bold.
I didn't know anything about mushrooms except for you're just going to eat them and see stuff that wasn't there. That was the only information that I had. Met up with her at this Safeway parking lot, gave her a hug. She was like, "Ow, careful." I looked at her weird. She's like, "I just got my nipples pierced." I'm like, can I see? Here you are. Oh, man, she had great tits. And I had a crush on her like all through high school. She was chill.
It's nice closure.
Yeah. I got the mushrooms and didn't eat them that night, but the next day I was hanging out with a friend, Devin and Zeke. And Devin's a chick, Zeke's a guy, obviously. And we went to this Greenbelt spot up 67th Avenue in Happy Valley. And I was the only one that took them. And the first time I took them, I remember they tasted like sunflower seeds. I was like, oh, these are fucking good. And I don't remember how much it was, a gram or two. Ate them. My stomach started to digest them. I just kind of like felt slightly uncomfortable. And after there for like 30, 40 minutes, we hopped in the car and Devin started driving us. I don't remember exactly where, but that's when they started to kick in. I was in the back seat and we were listening to Drake and Lil Wayne song called I'm Going In. And when Lil Wayne's verse came on, I thought Lil Wayne was like talking to me, saying, "Let me out." And every time the bass would hit, I thought it was him hitting the back seat to like let him out. And I remember turning and looking at the seat like, I can't help you, bro. Like, I'm sorry. I can do nothing for you. And there was some really like that.
You thought he was in the trunk?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought he was in the trunk. Like him rapping, letting him out, like let me out. And every time the bass of the song hit, I thought it was him like hitting the back of the seat.
That's hilarious.
I was like, I remember looking at the seat, like, I can't do anything for you, man. I'm sorry. It felt so bad. But that first time was a lot of fun. I had so much fun. Remember we pulled up to QT and Devin and Zeke went in and I stayed in because like right when we pulled up, I felt like everyone fucking knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm on mushrooms right now. And I didn't want to go out and I didn't want to be around anyone. So I just stayed in the car and I'm in the back seat. It's at night at this point, and I'm having an iPod, and it's like the old iPod with the wheel on it.
Yeah, those are good. Those are the best ones. The iPod Classic.
Yeah, the OGs. And I'm scrolling through, and then like I see this red light like go through my arm, like it's like a vein, and then I look at my arm, and it's like all my veins are just being lit up with this red like neon light. And I was like, this is super cool. And then in my peripheral, while I'm looking at my forearm, I feel the car sinking into the ground. So I'm seeing the asphalt just like slowly come up on the side of the windows. It was trippy, but it didn't freak me out. Like, this is just fucking cool. I really enjoyed it. None of that night scared me. We continue on down the night and we end up in this like Bash's parking lot that was closed, and a bunch of kids would just meet up and hang out there. And
Delinquents.
right. But honestly, there's probably like 15, 20 of us just hanging out. I'm the only one on mushrooms, just chilling. And the way this tree is set up, it's inside, or it's like right next to a light post. And it looked like a demon, like just like black shadow figure, and the lights was its eyes. And it was just looking at me like a shadow demon. And I remember like noticing it. And I like walk 10 feet over here, just kind of chill, and I look back and it's still looking at me. And then I like walk back to where I was. For like 30 minutes, I just was walking back and forth and noticing and looking at me. And then everyone was talking, and right in the middle, hey guys, I don't want to alert anyone, but there's a demon in that tree right there. And he's been looking at me for like 30 minutes, just chilling, just so you guys know.
Just figured you guys would want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's funny to reflect on that because like it didn't scare me at all. Just because I knew I took mushrooms and I'm just seeing that's what's not there. So it didn't make me nervous at all. It was just, I had a lot of fun. I thought the ground like opened up and it was like this giant fucking crevice that people were like falling in. I was like, Devin, no, wait.
Yeah.
I just had a good time.
That's nice. That's nice that it was a good time because, you know, a little bit a small tweak in circumstance or mindset can turn that demon into a total reality.
Yeah.
And a fear-inducing coma, or excuse me, and a coma-inducing fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the crevice, people falling in there, like that could cause mass panic inside a person if the situation's just a little different. So that's awesome. You had fun.
Yeah, I feel very blessed that I was just having a good time. And so that experience ended that night later on, and then like I don't know, a week or two later, whatever, had some extra money, so I got it for my buddy Patrick and I, and you know, paid for everything for the night for us to have a good time. And now it's Patrick, Devin, Zeke, and myself. And Patrick and Devin were dating at the time, and started off the same. Patrick and I take them, having a really good time, seeing fun stuff, and then probably like 3/4 into the trip, we're back at this park in the neighborhood that we grew up in. And I'm on a bench, and across the way, like on the playground, which is just like 10 feet from where I'm sitting, is Zeke, Devin, and Patrick. And I'm looking up in the night sky, and I see this outline of like a giant lizard. It's actually like, it's little dots like this that you have, like these little lasers you have on the roof, but they're red and they're moving really fast in the outline of a lizard. and in the middle was like a shape of like an atom, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was orange, blue, and green, and they were moving a lot. And someone asked me what I was seeing, and as I started to explain, I'm still looking at the sky the whole time when they asked me. And as I'm explaining, the colors are getting brighter, and the atoms moving faster and getting bigger and bigger. And then I can hear them talking like amongst themselves, and like in my head instantly, it's like, well, if you didn't care, like, why'd you fucking ask? And then slowly, that lizard just started to like disappear, the outline of it, and then the heart faded away. And after it was gone, I remember looking down, and I saw Patrick. And this is the first time I feel like the veil was lifted, because I saw Patrick in a different light, in a different filter. It's like it was like for the first time, I saw Patrick for Patrick and who he is.
Yeah.
And it made me super uncomfortable. There wasn't any kind of like aura or color. It was just weird to see it. I could just see it.
You could see him like everything was stripped away of like
Right.
all the things you thought about him.
Yeah.
You saw him for him in that moment.
Right. And I also remember, like, while I was looking at the lizard in the sky, he asked if he could have a cigarette. And so I'm still looking at the sky. I like grab the case or the pack, and I throw it to him. And as he throws it back, that's like shortly after it went away, and I looked down, and I had like a very strong feeling he took more than one. Like he was like sneaking a few. And I have no proof, but it just felt like that's what happened. And I could just see him for him. And it was very strange. And I think I had to like walk away for a bit. And while that is happening, it feels like there's this box in the middle of my brain, like the box of life, Pandora's box of life, and it opened. And what I guess I could see now is like downloads, but there was just so much that was coming in. I was asking myself, well, what's the meaning of life? And instantly had an answer. Meaning of friendship, answer. Question, answer, question, answer. And then I remember asking, like, why is my mom such a fucking bitch?
Yeah.
It was just quiet. Because her and I had a very tumultuous relationship. There was a lot of anger and rage towards her for a long time.
Well, she didn't treat you well.
No. But she did the best that she could with the tools that she was given.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for everything that I went through.
Yeah, but I guess for the sake of people listening, you didn't just hate her for no reason.
Correct.
Like, she abused you.
Correct.
And you know, responded with anger.
Right.
So.
There was a lot of mistreatment. And I remember asking, like, why is my mom such a fucking bitch? And it was just quiet for a little bit. And what I can describe, I guess, is like my higher self was, well, maybe she's hurting from her mother being murdered by your mom's cousin that she grew up with. And then 20 months later, her dad OD'd on heroin. I was like, oh.
Pretty extreme trauma.
Yeah. And I was 19 at that time. Her parents passed when I was like 8 or 9. So it's like 10, 11 years of just going through shit. It didn't heal everything right away, but it gave me a different perspective. And it made me understand it's not just about me, you know?
Yeah.
And I became like, for lack of a better word, like obsessed with that. Because I saw that was healing and that was growth, just understanding.
Obsessed with what?
Having a different perspective of being able to like grow and heal. Mm-hmm. I knew that shift, there could be a better side to all this anger and rage I was feeling. It was something that gave me a path to walk down. And so I became, like I said, kind of like obsessed.
Yeah.
And so I started doing them a lot, as much as I could, really. And just start off with mushrooms. And every time I would do it, it felt like I would just have a different epiphany, a different realization, something else to work through, because I had so much shit to work through. And
how often would you do them?
Man, it's hard to really say, honestly.
Was it ever more than once a week?
Sometimes,
Huh.
but it wasn't like that for the entirety of me doing them.
Yeah.
But still, in that first year of me doing them, there was one point I don't even know where I got the idea or what made drawn me to it, but I had an idea that I would fast for 36 hours, not take any kind of food, just drink water, and then take 7 grams of mushrooms. I probably wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, man, not me.
But
That'd be
it was a crazy experience,
yeah.
to say the least.
I'd need a real strong directive
Right.
to do that, a reason or a command.
Yeah. And maybe that's what it was, because like I said, there wasn't like anyone that influenced me or gave me the idea like, hey, like I don't really know why. Maybe I just felt like this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I feel very grateful that when I took mushrooms, I didn't fall into like the view of it of like, oh, this is a party, this is fun, because like I know a lot of people that do that, and for me, it was just medicine. This is giving me a different perspective. This is allowing me to grow and like heal and let shit go.
Yeah.
So when I took that 7 grams of mushrooms, I was working at. Can we take a pause for a second?
Yeah.
I just need to like breathe. How you doing?
Good. You okay?
Yeah.
I think what's going on is that since you're at quite a bit of higher elevation, the air is thinner.
I can see that, yeah.
So you need more of it in order to satiate what you normally get at lower elevation.
Yeah. And 100%. And there's this layer of being conscious of all this happening.
Yeah. It's something.
Yeah, it's.
I went to Colorado one time with my dad when I was a kid to help his buddy move up there, and I don't know, the elevation is probably more than 8,000 feet, and I remember getting elevation sickness, feeling
Really?
like extreme nausea, and we had ordered pizza and I threw up, and it was honestly that when I think back to it now, it felt like I was having a bad psychedelic trip.
Yeah.
Because I was nauseous, spinning. I was like,
Yeah.
what's real? I need to sit down. I'm not grounded. I can't find ground.
Yeah.
So that was not fun.
And there's another layer too of like, this is something I've always wanted to do in this space right now. So it's like dancing with all this, and I didn't even consider the elevation. So like that is another thing that is true.
Yeah.
I just need to.
If you want, I can shut the window. It might help. I don't know.
No, I almost kind of want to get the other pre-roll I have in my car, if that's okay. Real fast? No? That's fine.
I think we should wait.
Okay.
I think it would be better for our conversation if we waited.
Well, I was going to smoke it while talk. I think the act of smoking makes me feel relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. I'm fine with waiting.
Okay. Well, at least get through this story and then do that. Because there was one other time I had a guy on who smoked a bunch of weed before, and like he was talking about a big subject.
Yeah.
And he kept losing his place, and I was like, fuck.
Well, I wouldn't lose my place on this.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
You were working where?
I was working at Pizza Hut at the time. So I worked like a 6-7 hour shift, got off, longboarded over to Patrick's house, which was probably like a mile and a half down the way. And we're in his house. His family wasn't home for the night for a while, actually. They were out of town. And I got there, said what up, kind of like cooled off for a second because it's hot in Phoenix. And then I asked him if he had a tall glass that I could put water in. And so after getting there, after like 10 minutes, I took a tall glass of water. I put the mushrooms in it. Most of it was kind of like crushed up, just kind of like being in the bag and just like the wear and tear of transportation. It wasn't like in a dube tube or anything. It was just little, not even like the sandwich bags, not a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. The ones you have to fold over.
Yeah. So I fill it up with water, put the mushrooms in, and then I had a packet of Emergency, the vitamin C packet. I think it's like 100 milligrams of vitamin C. Because, they say vitamin C helps boost the high, the experience, makes it kick in quicker, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it's doing chemically, but it definitely makes it a stronger experience.
Yeah. So, knowing that, I open it and I pour it in there, and it starts to just like, because a lot of the mushrooms are floating up top. And as it's sitting there and it's mixing with everything, it starts to foam up a bunch. And then Patrick's freaking out. He's like, dude, it's eating psilocybin. Hurry up and take it real fast.
It's eating the psilocybin.
He's like destroying it or whatever.
Well, it could be because I think it's the acidity that has an effect.
Yeah.
On that.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
But I grab a big old spoon, and grab most of the mushrooms and the vitamin C, eat it, and then I chug a tall glass of water. Put it down. Kind of catch my breath, burp a little bit here and there, and then we walk outside. Within like 3 minutes, he hands me a bong. I take a big rip, blow it out, pass it to him. And as I'm passing it to him, I have heavy trails. I still think it's the heaviest trails I've ever had in my life. And as I'm moving my hand, it's like how do you describe it? It's like a delay of your vision.
That's a good way to describe it. I haven't heard of it that way, but like if you're looking at an airplane in the sky and it's leaving a trail behind, it's kind of like that, except it looks like it would be like the airplane is being stretched out or something.
Yeah, but not stretched out, but still it's like I can like picture my hand here close my body, and as I move it like 2 inches there, I can see it. And it's
yeah.
Usually it doesn't happen until 30 minutes to an hour and after ingesting them that you start to have any kind of visuals.
But this was like immediate.
This is 3 minutes after I ate them. I took a bong rip and I was like, oh shit. Okay. I don't even think I took another bong rip. Patrick smoked, and then we walked inside, and he showed me a concert by the artist Jason Mraz. The concert's called A Beautiful Mess Live on Earth. And this is my first time really listening to any kind of Jason Mraz music or any of his music or seeing anything that he's performed live. And it was life-changing, to say the least.
This wasn't the 7 grams, right?
Yeah.
That was 7 grams you mixed.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were with Patrick when you did that.
Yeah. Patrick was like my trip buddy back in the day. And Patrick didn't take anything that night. He was my trip sitter. Thank God for Patrick and his patience that night, because things could probably be massively different if he wasn't the person who he is. But we walk inside and he starts his concert, and I'm sitting in a lazy boy recliner like by myself, and he's sitting on the couch, and then he has a big flat screen TV mounted on the wall, and he has really tall ceilings because he has a 2-story house, and you can see the stairs from the living room walk up. So it was on the wall. A lot of space, a lot of white space, 2 small square windows above it, probably like 12, 15 feet above the TV, close to the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And as it's starting, I have the lazy boy like reclined. I'm sitting there, and I feel like I'm peeing on myself. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like feeling all around. I don't feel any wetness, but I also know I'm really high, so I can't tell.
Yeah, you feel that warmth moving across like your midsection.
Yeah, it just really felt like I was peeing. And Patrick saw me. He's like, you all right? I was like, dude, I'm sorry, but I feel like I peed myself. And he laughed. He's like, well, I hope you did it. And then I like sat there, and after like another minute, I just kept feeling it. I was like, Patrick, can you check, please? Because I really can't tell. And like, I want to know if I'm just like sitting in piss or not. If it's just me. And so he gets up and he checks. And he's like, no pee. Thank God. So I felt a lot more. I felt a lot better after that. And then as the concert goes on, the music is so good. He has like this super band He has a horn section. There's a drummer, a guitarist, like the rhythm guitar, lead guitar. He plays acoustic.
There's a bassist.
There's a bassist.
And
There's
then
Toka.
there's Toka Rivera, which is on are they bongos?
I think it's bongos.
Okay.
He might have bongos and congos, honestly.
Oh, I don't know congos.
And then he has a horn section.
Yeah, the horn section makes that concert
So good.
amazing.
And then he also has an electric pianist.
Yeah, pianist.
He has electric pianist. We all get it. But the music was so good, and the lyrics were really good. And I didn't really remember anything much of the music or the lyrics at that time. But there is one point in the song, where Jason Mraz breaks out and starts singing opera.
Oh yeah, absolutely moving.
The first time seeing that, 7 grams of mushrooms, and he starts singing an opera, and I'm watching this concert, and I'm literally like, Patrick, I can't even describe what I'm seeing. And I just kind of close my eyes and go inward a little bit, see what I see. I don't really remember, but I remember like open my eyes and looking at the 2 windows that were above the TV, like 12, 15 feet above it. And they're like a foot by foot square with like maybe 2 feet in between them. The wall had a color and the windows had a color, and they were like switching back and forth and like changing colors as well. And as I'm looking at that, enjoying it, in my peripheral vision, I see these lines come up the wall, and then I look down, and these lines turn and grow out into vines. Now there's vines growing on the wall, just completely actually hallucinating, not just like having visuals of looking at a water bottle and the water bottle's changing or whatever it is. I'm seeing something that's not there at all. And then I look down to the floor where the vines are coming out, and there's these fucking beautiful flowers that are sprouting from the floor. And it was just so like breathtakingly beautiful and overwhelming that the next thing I know, I'm kind of like going underwater, which is just a small period of time that I don't remember. It sounds better than blacking out. But, kind of going in the water, come back up, and now I'm in the backyard with Patrick, myself, and there's 2 new people here, Matt and Jonathan. And I don't remember them showing up or anything. So I come to, and I have the bong in my hand. I'm like looking around. What the fuck? And I'm so confused. I know I'm outside because I've been in the backyard. But when I look inside through the window and I see the stairs, it makes me feel like I'm in a basement.
So yeah, okay.
So I'm very confused. Like, I'm in a basement, but I'm outside. I can't comprehend.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is or anything. And I feel like it's super late. And so I ask, what's going on? And Jonathan, he has this long, brown, shaggy hair and a big, shaggy beard. He's well-read, very, like, hippie. He's a smart hippie. He's a cool guy. But he just looked at me and said, nothing. Just chilling, smoking weed. It's your hit. And for whatever reason, it made me feel super uncomfortable. Like, extremely uncomfortable. It's late. I'm thinking to myself, like, it's late. I should probably go home. I was like, I think I'm going to go home. And then all 3 of them are like, no. You can't go anywhere. I'm like, it makes me even more.
Yeah, they started to freak out, so you feel that energy and then absorb it, and it amplifies because of the mushrooms.
Exactly, and they're doing the right thing. I'm on 7 grams of mushrooms. They're not going to just let me out into the fucking wild, right? Like, but just like that reaction real quick, and then it made me so uncomfortable. So then I was like, what's going on? And again, he reiterates, we're just smoking weed. It's your hit. And so then in my head, like, are they trying to take advantage of me? Are they trying to get me like so fucked up that, are they trying to rape me? My heart starts fucking pounding. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was terrifying. And I really had like no reason to feel that or to think that, but for whatever reason, that's just what came about. And then, so I'm like, I ended up telling them, you guys, like, I feel like you're trying to like take advantage of me. I feel like you guys are trying to rape me. Are you trying to rape me? Am I gay? Do I want this? And like, I was losing it so much. And then once I say like, am I gay? They started kind of like chuckling. Like, I don't know if you're gay or not. It's on you. We're not trying to rape you. We're just smoking weed. And it's funny whenever that story is told because people tend to laugh. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it is funny. You know, it wasn't funny at the time.
No,
It was fucking terrifying.
For sure, not funny at the time.
You know, like that gave me such a small little glimpse into what I feel like a lot, if not most women experience at some point in their life where they fear that's like coming from a male. Like, I don't know, man. It seriously was like scary as hell.
Yeah.
And to like be so lost and scared and confused, like, am I gay? Is this what I want? I'm not gay. But that shit was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But again, after that, a little bit going to the water, I come back to, and I'm in the living room of I'm on the floor of Patrick's living room. Jonathan and Matt are gone, and I'm just laying down, and I'm looking at the fibers of the carpet, just running my hand across, and thinking to myself, I've gone crazy. And it would echo in my head, crazy, crazy, crazy. I've lost my mind. This is how I'm going to be forever. And that was just like kind of on the loop. And as I'm laying there just looking, like my head on the carpet, looking at the fibers of the carpet, and like tears just like coming down my eyes. I'm not even like really crying, but it's like, oh, I'm stuck. This is it. Like, this is my existence now. And tears are just like coming out of my eyes. It was really scary. I feel like that was almost more scary than feeling like I was about to be raped. Because it's like I knew, fuck, this is it. And I'm aware of it. Terrifying. Go underwater, come back up. I'm in his bathroom downstairs now. And I have my left hand on the mirror and my right hand like on my face. And I'm crying super heavy because I'm a big emotional guy. And I remember like seeing myself and like, what? What's going on? And like walked out and walked into the living room, dining room, kitchen area. And I sit next to Patrick. And he was like, what's up, man? How you doing? I was like, is this real? Yeah, man, this is real. Oh, okay. Hey, Patrick, is this real life? Yeah, man, this is real. Everything's real right now. Okay. And then for a solid hour, I had this like 5 to 10, maybe 15-second memory. And after at least 15 seconds, I would ask Patrick again, is this real? Is this real? Is this real?
And then he had patience throughout that whole hour to tell you the same thing.
Exactly.
Without like getting mad or...
Yeah.
Wow.
And like, I have so much gratitude for Patrick for that, for being able to hold that space and be patient with it, with me. Because I can totally see that could be irritating as hell for a solid hour of someone asking, is this real? And just having to repeat. But, you know, I think he understood the gravity of the situation of what I was doing, and he was patient. And then, like, I'll never forget the last time that I asked him, I wasn't, like, really consciously there. I was like, hey, man, is this real life? And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, man, this is all real. I'm real. You're real. This energy you feel is real. This is all real here. And after that, I felt like I got shot back down into my body. And I was like, and Patrick saw me. He's like, hey, you want to smoke some weed? I was like, yes. Yes, please. And it was a crazy experience because I saw myself like shooting back into my body when after that last response and just being back, and it was like, I can breathe. I'm here. Like, I'm not so lost in whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I smoked some weed, had a lot of gratitude for him. I think we watched the concert again after that. I don't remember, but that was one of the most beautiful and scariest nights of my life.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible, man. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. I don't think it's a smart thing to do.
No, definitely not. You know, thank God for Patrick, because if it was somebody else that didn't know what was going on, and you know, you could be a completely different person right now.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, someone freaked out, like, God, and like kicked me out of their house.
Right.
There could have been so many different factors.
Yeah.
Variables in that.
Wow. Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. And I also like thank the universe for equipping me with enough, like, I don't know, mental strength or fortitude to be able to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
And
come back from it.
Full
and whole.
Yeah. You know, not lost my mind.
Yeah.
I'm very, very grateful for it all, for everything that's ever happened, to leave me right here, right now.
Yeah.
You know, all the shitty stuff, all the great stuff. You know, it's all happening for us. It's not happening to us. And that was huge. I remember hearing that from the Aubrey Marcus podcast when he got in the car accident. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually something he said that just, it's always stuck. You know, you hear truth for the first time, and true is true, regardless. And it's made it so much easier to dance with the difficulties and the trials and tribulations of life.
Mm-hmm.
To not take on the stance like, why is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
And when I would do that for me, it was like, oh, poor me. 'Cause I chose that for so long, of like, man, this is just using it as an excuse instead of changing the perspective. Like, oh, this is happening for me to learn a lesson, to become a better version of myself.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a really helpful reminder.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the wherewithal to recognize the state of their mind to the degree of being able to change it in that moment.
Yep.
And it's like those little things that can help tweak or turn a dial
Yeah.
or reframe.
Yep.
It, like a fortune cookie, a little fortune. You read this little thing and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is happening for me,
Yeah.
not to me.
Yeah.
You know, just that little shift can be astronomical in your day.
And it was astronomical for me, like the second time I took mushrooms. And then I, you know, understood that it was just a shift in perspective with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it is. That's what I learned at 19. The key to this life is perspective on how you choose to view things. Because it's all a choice. At one point, it becomes just a choice to bitch and complain about it or do something about it. You know, use it to your advantage. Use it as fuel. It's so easy. It's so easy to choose negative.
Yeah.
To weep and moan and bitch and cry about what's happening. But everyone has their issues. You know, no one cares either. And that's tough sometimes to realize, like, no one cares and you got to fucking do it.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think there are people who are compassionate and empathetic that really do care.
Yes.
And just like you're one of those people. And so am I.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you can always take time out of your day to give energy to that person who's having a struggle.
Correct.
If you're even aware of the struggle.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is true. I think I'm a little salty of the no one cares because, you know, I found myself with struggling with addiction with using with coke. And I remember when I came to that point, like, oh, this is an issue for me. I reached out to a few people who I know who've had other addictions with alcohol or this or that, and reaching out and I guess in my way saying, like, I want some help.
Yeah.
Me calling and say, hey, I'm having this trouble with this, and then not hearing any kind of follow-up or any kind of return.
Yeah.
I took that super personal.
Well, some people don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have to be able to know the difference, I guess. And sometimes it unfortunately takes that scenario to see the difference.
Yeah. You know, especially like reaching out to someone who I thought would care because I've helped them in numerous ways. It just felt like I could lean on them, but you learn that not everyone is there for you in the way that you need to be.
Yeah. And just because somebody cares doesn't mean that they can solve the problem for you.
100%, you know, and I wasn't expecting that, but to say like, hey, I'm having trouble, and to like never even ask or like follow up upon, like that hurt. That just, if someone told me like, hey, I'm having addiction with this or whatever, and like, I would just feel compelled, like, man, if they felt they could trust me to talk to me about that, I want to just let them know that I'm here. Mm-hmm. But that's where the expectations lead to disappointment, because I can't expect someone to act like how I would act, because they are them and I am me. Mm-hmm. You know, and expectations suck.
Well, that's why you find good quality friends that would do what you would do for them.
Right.
When you need it.
Right. Yeah. I feel like I learned a lot about who like my true friends are this past year.
Yeah.
A lot.
It can hurt, man.
It can. It definitely can.
It's like, dude, I need help. Somebody help me.
Yeah.
It's just fucking empty space, silence.
But that's what it is. And honestly, I'm glad that's how it unfolded.
Yeah.
Because it made me have to be stronger for myself, for my daughter, and now it's easier, hindsight's always 20/20, but it's like that, again, that all happened for me. It didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
People weren't being shitty to me. It was, for whatever reason, they did that, and I took it the way I did, and that's okay, because I'm a better person of it because of today.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can be the best version of myself going to my daughter.
Yeah, it's a nice reminder of the need for discernment, the ability to discern people and I guess their character.
Yeah.
You don't always know, but oftentimes you can tell this is how this person is, and then a super stressful scenario hits, and that person might be a different person in that super stressful scenario, or they might continue to be that same good character. Yeah. But you don't always know, but training that ability to discern is super helpful.
It is.
And then the other piece would be like boundaries. You find that person that's like they didn't help me when I really needed help.
Yeah.
Not to write them off or say, oh, they suck. I don't want them to be a part of my life, but it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to call on that person for something important anymore.
Yeah. It's removing them from that like circle of people that you have a certain, there's different circles that we have certain expectations. We have like our parents in one group, and we have certain expectations from them that we wouldn't have for like our best friends or from like a significant other. So it's learning to where to put them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think DMX said one time, it's like, trust people to be themselves, but trust so you can see who they are. So expect a liar to lie to you. Expect a thief to steal from you.
Yeah, which is really nice once you figure someone out in that way. It's like, okay, well, I know this person has lied to me in the past this many times about these minute things.
Right.
So there's a fair chance that they're lying now about this thing. So maybe I'm not going to, lend them $100 this time or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to help them or if they've feigned compassion or victimization before needing help.
Yeah.
And like, oh, they faked that for attention or for attention is the one that I've seen the most.
Yeah.
Compassionate attention.
Yeah. It's easy to see too, for me personally, the older I get, because I used to be like that for so long, is like fishing for attention or compliments.
Yeah, niceness. You want niceness from people.
Yeah. I feel like my cup of self-love, I didn't know how to fill it growing up. And it wasn't really filled at home from the people I wanted it to be filled, like my mom, dad, and sister. Shit was rough. So then I would be around friends and would intentionally talk down about myself, talk negative about myself, and hoping someone would come back with a rebuttal, like, oh, I'm so stupid. You're not stupid.
Oh, John, you're not stupid.
Yeah.
You're really smart.
You're a good guy. Shit like that.
Don't be so hard on yourself, buddy.
It's just because my cup is so empty and I just didn't know how to fill it. So I'm just looking for any kind of external validation to make me feel worthy, loved, special, and just not believe this constant negative that I'm being heard or being told to, intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah.
And you do that for so long, it just becomes kind of a habit.
Yeah.
And you don't realize. And then it's like a default mode when shit gets hard and I'm stressed, I just instantly just cut myself down and be so negative and don't give myself enough credit. And do that for so long. And it's tough, man. It's really tough. I'm so fucking grateful that I went through the shit that I did last month in October to really come out the other side. Like, I really feel like such a brand new person. Like, I shedded so much of unnecessary shit that doesn't serve me anymore. I feel way more clear in who I am. I love myself way more today than I have ever have.
What did you go through?
So, I have a daughter. She's about to turn 5 here soon. And back in the beginning of September, her mother and I made a decision to move to Utah. But it felt like it was more me being told this is what's happening. And that I struggled with that. September 30th, my daughter's mother's mother flew down from Utah, packed their stuff up, and drove up there on September 30th. So October 1st of 2023, I was in a house alone. And then shortly after, my dogs went over to a friend's house so they could watch it because my AC went out. And I didn't want them just being in the house all day and just baking for unnecessary reasons. I was in a house alone completely by myself for the first time ever in my life. And I was struggling with an addiction. And I was struggling with my self-image and struggling with self-worth and working these really long days and coming home and having to pack my house and clean my house and sell it and process all this stuff of me having to uproot my life, of having to sell my house and leave a career that I really loved and walk away from a relationship with my mother who now, like her and I are now rekindling and rebuilding a relationship. It was just like terrible timing. It felt like I was being told I had no say in it. And I had a really hard time. I was in a really dark place last month. And I think really just being alone, it allowed me to see so much of myself that I couldn't see, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
My daughter being there.
Let's go back to that perspective thing.
Mm-hmm. The environment that I was in, it wasn't good in the house. It was too easy to fall into the addiction because there's people really close, like walking distance, that we influenced each other, enabled each other, and there was a lot of guilt and shame I felt about myself, about how I was parenting, about being a partner to someone, and it was too much for me to deal with, so I just suppressed it, and then it would come out, and I would struggle, and there was times where it felt like so dark. I didn't know how I was going to get through it. I really didn't know how I was going to fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and like all I want to do is get mad at my daughter's mother and blame her and tell her this is all your fault. But it takes two to tangle, and I try to take 100% accountability. There's actions and decisions I made that put me here in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I accept that. So I can't blame anyone.
And an addiction is no joke.
Yeah.
No matter what it's to, the addiction generally will blind you to what you're doing or how it's affecting other people.
Yeah. And I was like in that addiction before all this happened, and then after I like to view it as like it was a method of coping in the best way that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And
or the worst way. The worst way that you could.
There's better way. I mean, I think there's worse ways that I could have coped, and I'm grateful I can look back on it and be like, even though I was struggling with that addiction, I wasn't so far lost that I couldn't get my house packed, sold, and moved out in 41 days.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what I did. They left September 30th, and I had the house sold by, November 17th? So what is that? Yeah, 48 days? 48 days. And that's impressive to me. I got to give myself credit for that now. But during that time, I was so focused on my bullshit and the pain that all I could see is a tree. I couldn't see the forest.
Mm.
And I had, it's really nice just to like know that I did what I needed to fucking do. I had set a plan before it all happened. I'm going to sell my house, get out of debt, get a car, get a place up there, and move up there. Tomorrow I'm going to be living in Utah. And I did all that. I did most of my house shit like by myself. 10% with little people here and there of kind of like helping pack up. But like I moved most of it by myself. I did most of that by myself. I had people offer and whatnot, and I don't know if it's part of like ego and pride, but I felt like there was a big part of like I had to do this myself.
Yeah, I think it goes back to filling that cup of love, that self-love, and that taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
and being responsible for and toward yourself.
Right.
I think it's that. I don't think it's really a matter of pride at that point.
Yeah. I think it's at that point it probably was more like a pride thing because I didn't have the perspective of this is self-love, because I see it now that I had to do that for myself because it was necessary. That is a way for me to like deal and process with everything that's going on. You know, see my house in every aspect as I'm packing up Zilia's room, as I'm packing up everything else around the house. It's yeah, man. I'm so grateful to be here, and I during that time I was being a delivery driver for the company that I was at, and they have a camera in the van. I would love to go back and watch that footage because I guarantee like 80% of it is just me fucking crying,
Yeah.
just struggling with it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm so grateful for the people that have been around and have patience with me and still love me for me, you know, and don't see me in the perspective that I saw myself. You know, they were always a guiding light and supportive love. You know, and you've always been one of those people since the jump.
The jump. Yeah.
You know, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man, I feel blessed, you know, to even have the opportunity to experience that. There would be times I would literally be breaking down, crying, and be like, man, at least I get to do this. At least I get to feel this, as shitty as it is, because I'm not dead. I get to feel this, and I'm so grateful knowing this is happening for me. I feel like I've tripped some people out. Like my neighbors have been sitting there completely breaking down, and then still be able to say, like, at least this is happening for me, and I get to go through this, and it's still a beautiful day to be alive as I'm fucking weeping. But those words, they fucking help. It's so important how you talk to yourself, what you put into existence. You know?
Yeah. Right on. So that was last month.
That was last month.
And tomorrow you're moving to Utah.
Tomorrow I am moving to Utah to go be with my daughter, who I am so excited to see and so grateful.
Yeah, you haven't seen her in 2 months.
I haven't seen her in 2 months. On the dot.
That's rough, man. I've been there. I've had a 4-month stint of not seeing my son, and now after having built a relationship with him, like I was telling you earlier, it's every few days, 2-3 days go by, and I'm just like, oh man, I miss that little guy so much.
Yeah.
Just wish I could hold him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go through that weekly. But it's cool. It's good. I need that time, you know, I guess not necessarily away from him, but that time where I don't have to give him 100% of my attention.
Yeah.
So that I can obviously take care of the house and do other stuff, take care of myself.
Right.
Things like that. But yeah. And I'm thinking about conversations like this and how it's the possibility of like, okay, well, my son grows up, hopefully if I'm not too bad of a dad, while he grows up, he's going to look up to me and want to know, like, well, what's dad been up to for his life?
Yeah.
And then he comes back and listens to stuff like this, and it's like, oh, I should eat some mushrooms. I'm thinking, oh, great. How would I present that? Or how would I manage that? Because a lot of times I'll think like, yeah, this is something that I can do for me or whatever, but I wouldn't recommend other people do it, or there's certain people that I think it wouldn't be beneficial to.
Yeah.
And then my son being just like my heart, like how wanting nothing bad to happen to him and not wanting him to experience any of that kind of fear or pain or confusion that might be associated or might be brought up by those types of plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure it out by the time I get there, I think, on how to present that stuff to him if before he gains interest in it on his own.
Yeah.
I'll probably be like, hey, this is what's out there.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of special interest in it, come talk to me and we'll talk about it.
Do you think anyone who's ever taken those kind of plant medicines has never had one of those moments of pain, confusion, or, hard moments?
What? Say it again. What do you mean?
So you said, your son's your heart, and you really don't want him to experience, the pain or the confusion or, the hardship of what the plant medicines can bring. But that's part of the experience, don't you think?
I do.
So it's, all we can do is just try to give our children the best tools, the best knowledge,
Yeah.
because we have to understand and accept and realize and know that they're gonna face that.
Yeah, and I think it's more a fear of feeling his pain. I can feel his pain,
Yeah, I can see that.
and that's just the worst feeling ever.
Yeah. I'd like the perspective, who of a better person to be there to help him through that.
Than me.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's also might possibly be the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done.
But it goes back to the law of attraction. Focus on that. Oh, I don't want my son to have this, that, and that. And that's all you think about every time that subject comes in your mind. You're just drawing that more to you every single time.
I see what you mean.
If you're worried about having...
Well, I don't think about that every time. I just in thinking about how am I going to present this to him, that's one of the main things that comes up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I don't want him to experience this, but it's probably unavoidable, but I'm not going to not be involved.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, no, it's not like I'm ruminating on it or anything.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. 100%. I think, yeah. It's hard, obviously we don't want our children to go through pain. I think I've gotten to a point myself personally, I just know it's going to happen. I expect it, because it's life, and life is fucking hard for everyone. And all I can do is control what I can control and just be there and love, support, and understanding, and try my best to give her the knowledge to make the best educated decision.
Yeah.
To give her a foundation to build on and go off, and to let her know without a doubt she can go out into the world and she can always come home, and she'll always have that love and support no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the most important things.
Yeah. It's trying not to hold that control.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny when I hear people say, I don't really want to take mushrooms or LSD because I don't like to be out of control.
You're already not in control. You're just living in the illusion that you're in control. So enjoy that. Ignorance is bliss.
It
right?
makes me laugh so hard. Oh, you think you're in control?
Yeah. Silly.
How you looking?
Good. Let's see how long we've been going for.
A little bit.
Yeah, almost an hour and a half. It's like that with a lot of things. I think about, well, how am I going to teach my son this when he's of age to learn that or whatever? With sex and thinking back to how that stuff was presented to me, or how I was exposed to certain things before it was presented to me.
Yeah.
And how that influenced it all. It's just thinking about just what we just said. It's I'm not in total control. He might have something presented to him, next week when he's with his mom that
Right.
I have no knowledge of or control over.
Right.
And I can just do the best I can with what I have.
Yeah.
And when I have time with them. So
And understanding that your best is enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be enough. If you're trying your best, and I believe you always will, knowing who you are for so many years, that is enough. You can't ask more from yourself or from anyone else. Did you try your best? That's good enough. Did you learn something? Are you going to be better moving forward? That's good enough.
Yeah.
We're only human.
That's true. I don't want to agree, but I do. Like, I want to say no. Like, my best wasn't good enough. I should have done better.
Why?
No, I know.
I know. You know, but like your best is enough. You know, a lot of us don't give ourselves that grace to understand that we're trying our best. It's so weird how so many of us will talk so negative to ourselves. If you fucked up about something and came to me, I'm going to hold a space of compassion and love and understanding and support because I already know you're getting down on yourself.
Yeah.
If I come to you because I fucked up, I know you're going to hold a space of love, compassion, and support.
Right.
Because you already know I'm getting down on myself.
Right.
But this is your life, Andrew. You are the most important person in your life. Mom, dad, brother, sister, me. Everyone else is only in it. You are the most important person. And if words have so much power and so much weight to them, they can build or destroy. Why do we talk so negative to the most important person?
Well,
Be nice to my friend, fucker.
I think that, yeah, exactly. I think it's a matter of character and personality and the way that personality has developed. And I'll use the drill sergeant example again because people thrive on particular forms of motivation. So like some people, words of affirmation goes a long way and they'll get something done. They'll go way further if somebody encourages them.
Right.
Than they would have without that encouragement. And then somebody like me, I think a lot of the times if you start talking mad shit to me, like doing the drill sergeant thing, like you're a fucking piece of shit. Why didn't you go to the gym today? I'll be like, oh, fuck yeah. You know, I am a piece of shit. I should have gone to the gym. And a lot of the time that'll actually work on me.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, wow, I should really do this because I don't want to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And so that's one form of motivation. Not that the others don't work.
No, right.
But sometimes that's the type of fuel that I run off of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if everyone would be like that. Because I'm sure like that comes from a long line of human history of just war and people not understanding like the power of word. But like there's an experiment I want to do with my daughter where you cook rice and after it's cooked you put one in a container and you label it love and the other container you label it hate and you speak it and after a month the positive rice stays fresh as it is.
Yeah, man. Those are some of the most incredible studies that have been done.
Right.
They'll do it with plants as well.
Yeah, and water.
And water.
So imagine if everyone in the world knew that, the power of words.
Yeah.
Would you need that excessive, degrading talk on someone? You know, if we were taught that from a young age.
Oh yeah, okay.
Would we need someone else to fucking tell us?
No, I don't think so.
Because we wouldn't talk to ourselves like I'm a piece of shit. I need to go to the gym.
Right. No, I think it's been built up in my own personal life.
Yeah. That
form of fuel.
Yeah.
And I've adapted to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it comes natural or anything like that. It's a with the nature versus nurture. So that would have been a nurture. I was nurtured in that direction of stop being a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, because like every baby that's born is just love.
Yeah.
It's just present in love. There's no baby that's born that's racist.
Yeah.
You know, that's taught. There's no baby that's born that hates themselves. That's taught.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's through guardians or friends or society, whatever it is, like every baby born is just fucking love. And that's all, like, that's the full potential of all of us.
Yeah.
You know, it's through life that shit gets skewed and changes.
Yeah, and through impressionability by those that are guiding your life, your young life.
Right.
Like going back to the water study or the plant rice word study, the one with water I think is the most impactful on my mind because the human body is 62% water or something like that. And if our cells or if so much of our body is water and we talk nice to ourselves or we have other people talk nice to us, then it's like the sound waves penetrating through the tissue are shaping or the frequency passing through the muscles and the blood is like actually shaping that thing, which is why I think praying over your food can be such a powerful thing.
Nice. Yeah.
And praying for people is because you're literally using the ultimate, your most ultimate understanding of goodness and directing it toward them.
Yeah.
The goodness of God, or however you see that, you're directing it toward them through sound waves. And those studies give a lot of credence to, hey, man, that stuff really works.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty cool.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy world that we live in, and how, I don't know.
For everything else, there's prayer.
It's all connected. Everything is everything.
Yeah. Well, I can't agree with that, but I know what you mean.
It's something that
it's all interconnected.
I don't know. There's like things you hear when you're younger that makes no sense. You're like, what the fuck? But as you get older and you have experiences in life, it starts to make a little more sense. Everything is everything is something I've heard for a long time. And I think it's starting to make a little more sense right now. I still don't know for sure. You know, but
I'll slice up that phrase a few different ways if you want to go there. I think maybe you could take that and put it on the shelf and replace it with, once you know the way broadly, you know the way in all things.
Okay.
Which is the Musashi quote. Once you know the way broadly, you know the way in all things.
Okay.
So when you learn how to do life, or how to do something really effectively, you can apply that to any other thing you do effectively.
Right.
I think that's kind of what it's getting at. But everything is everything. I'm not gonna go there. I don't agree with that. Everything is not everything.
I mean, but if God is everything and everything is and God is everything and God is in everything. God's in that fucking plate right there. God's in the stars.
I think that's too much of a simplification of it. Because it depends on what you define God to be. And if that's what you're defining God to be, then you are defining only God and nothing other than God.
What's other than God?
Things that are not God. Choices that we make.
Is God free will? Do you believe? And I'm not religious by any sense. I'm just questions.
Yeah, ask away.
Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of this microphone.
Thank you, microphone. Is God free will?
I mean, guess do you believe in free will?
Yeah.
Do you think God is free will?
No.
who gives an individual the choice to be able to have free will or to like make free will decisions?
I think God created us to be creatures with the ability to choose freely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So God is free will.
No.
So are we creatures made in the image of God?
I can give you the Bible answer, but I'm trying to think about what my answer is.
Yeah, I want your answer.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say yes, but it doesn't mean that we continue to operate in that way. Just like you said earlier, babies are born pure love.
Right.
Perfection.
Right.
And then, our shitty choice affects that pure love baby and nurtures it in a direction that is of poor choice.
Yeah. It's weird to operate these lines of like, when people are shitty, they're shitty. But I always have this thing within me. It's like it's almost to me like it's not their fault. But at the same time, like, you're not responsible for the shit that's happened to you, but you're 100% responsible for taking care of it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if people are like still shitty and they don't know that they're being shitty, if
Right.
they're oblivious to it,
Yeah.
if they've never began the opportunity to have awareness or resources to be better, is it really their fault To me, like it's a weird thing. And then there's also like, are some people just designed to be shitty to other people so they can be lessons in other people's lives to not be shitty?
I agree with that.
You know?
Yeah, I think that definitely has a place. Yeah, you were being tested
Yeah.
by other people's, poor choices or poor character
Yeah.
or unkindness. Because just like you said, it's not your fault they're being an asshole to you, but it's your fault how you respond.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's not to like let anyone off like the hook or justify it, but I guess like for me it just makes it easier to like, they just might not know. And I also know I don't know everything.
That's true.
No idea what put them there in that situation to make those choices.
Well, the famous words of Jesus Christ when he was on the cross right before he died, he said, "Forgive them. They know not what they do.
Yeah.
They do not see themselves."
Exactly. So it's like, man, it's weird. It's so weird. I think about that quote a lot. Is it forgive them or is it forgive them, Father? I always thought it was forgive them, Father, for they not know what they do.
They know not what they do.
They know
Let me
not
look it up right now so I can be sure. And we'll go with, I suppose, the King James Version. I believe it's forgive them, Father. Luke 23:34. Then said Jesus, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do."
Okay.
And they parted his raiment and cast lots. So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. That's like what I had to do with my mother. Like, forgive her because she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't understand the repercussions of what was going to happen. But at the same time, from her perspective, she was doing right from the environment that she knew. She was doing better. She just didn't realize that she was doing better. There was still an approach that was going to have such a drastic effect, if you will.
Yeah, I think we're all like that.
Yeah.
I've experienced that stuff with my son.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I think this is the best thing to do to get his attention. And it's like ends up not hurting his feelings, but like, I really don't want to put this out there, so I'll probably cut that part out. But I'll tell you that, like, he'll be doing something over and over, and I'm trying to ask him a question, and I'll say it 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, "Hey!" I'll like shout, "Hey!"
Gotta cut through.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it like he does this,
Yeah.
and I know that the sound waves just like sparked fear in him,
Yeah.
and I feel so bad.
Is it fear or just like initial shock and just kind of like understand, like, oh, because he knows you have nothing but love for him, and you wouldn't just yell at him to yell at him, to abuse him. Like, you show him through actions of how you really feel and love about him. It's not just words.
Yeah,
So
it could just be a shock.
I feel like it's more like a shock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just feel bad having to do that sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes kids need that discipline. They crave it.
That is true.
you know.
That is true. He's better. He's better off for sure. Like the rest of the day, if I choose to stand by what I said,
Right.
instead of
Don't let him run the show.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
If this becomes the let's keep him happy show, then my life turns to something totally
Your
different.
power diminishes.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously a kid running the show is not good for anyone.
Because they don't know. They don't know what
yeah,
they
they
need
just-
or what they
yeah.
want, what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And having that quick moment of like cutting through, there's way worse things you can do. Well, some would be way worse, just silent treatment. If you just chose not to speak to him, if he wasn't listening, just gave him a backhand.
Oh, people really do that.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
me, not me, but to me.
Yeah, your mom did that to you,
And but again,
dude.
that was the tools that she was given growing up. that was her environment. You know, it's nice to not have that grudge or like, why did you treat me better?
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing.
Well, hey, thanks for being the one that stopped that process in your lineage.
Man, I feel blessed to be able to have that. It's fucking hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, because you probably get the urge sometime to like hit something.
Not so much hit something, but there's been times where I've definitely snapped at my daughter, and I can see it's like a subconscious reaction to it. But when that happens, I'm also grateful for the opportunity that comes after it, because I can recognize it really quick when I like snap at her, yell at her, and then she kind of gets upset. I can walk away, take a deep breath, come back. I'm sorry, baby. Papa's not mad at you. You didn't make Papa mad. I was struggling with something, and I chose to be upset and release that.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything, I promise.
So important for them to hear those types of words.
To hear that, to see an example of someone being accountable of their emotions and seeing like real time regulating and not just staying pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
I can come back calmer, apologize, accept it, take accountability, and really let her know, because kids are naturally narcissistic. They think everything's about them. It is and it isn't, you know? So it's just nice to have that opportunity. Like, I really hate when that happens, but I'm really glad I get that moment to see and feel the difference of what, like, I feel would be more beneficial instead of just, like, being upset.
Yeah, and just from my own understanding and perspective of narcissism, I would say that they're not narcissistic. I feel like narcissistic is something more complex that gets developed over time, but I think self-centered
That's fair.
is more appropriate for a kid.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they're definitely more self-centered. Oh, mom and dad are getting divorced because I didn't clean my room. You know, they think there's a factor.
Yeah.
But it's not. You know, mom and dad had shit to work with, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate those moments. It's not a lot. It's only been a few, but to still like come back and just, I guess, treat my daughter how I wish I was treated.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that parenting has now, at least for people like you and me, has now become like the most important mission in life is to be a good parent.
Yeah.
Rather than like birth a business and have a big impact on society or something.
Yeah.
When that can be an excellent mission too, but the kid, like, you know who Tom McDonald is, the rapper? I quote him
I think you sent me some stuff. Yeah.
fairly often. So one of the things he says, instead of leaving a better planet for our kids, how about we leave better kids for our planet?
Right.
And just that little reverse is huge.
Yeah.
Because if you leave better kids for the planet's automatically going to benefit.
Right.
Like,
Right.
like, so simple.
It's simplicity is genius.
The other one I like I like all his stuff. But the other one that I've said before is about abortion. It's like, bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one got me when I first heard it. I was like, oh, that's what these people are saying.
Yeah.
Bacteria is considered life on Mars, but even if you have a heartbeat, you can still, be killed or aborted or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I think if women have the option to have an abortion, men should have the option to walk away. But we don't have to get into that.
Hold on. Let me think about what you just said. If women are like allowed to have an abortion without the man's consent, you mean?
Just like because ultimately it's up to the women, because it's their body, they're gonna make that choice, right? Like they could be in a relationship and they agree, and she can still go and do it anyways
without his approval or whatever.
Yeah.
So then, in that situation, you think a man should be able to. So even if she decides to keep the baby, the man should be free to just walk.
I think it's circumstantial, and maybe like if it was like a one night stand, and they got pregnant, they talked about it, like no, we're not gonna do this. Last minute, she gets cold feet, like no, I want to keep it. I think
He shouldn't have to have any obligation toward it.
if
If the women are allowed to just kill the baby without his approval.
yeah, because if she doesn't and she keeps the baby, now he's obligated to pay all this child support and all this whatnot when they originally agreed they weren't going to do it.
Yeah, when the sexual intercourse was both their bodies and both their choice.
Yeah. Now you're making a choice without me that's going to change life. I should be able to make a choice.
I think that's a logical trade-off. I really do. I don't want it to.
I'm not saying it's like right or
No,
wrong.
yeah,
but
exactly. It's not necessarily a moral trade-off, but it's
like
logical.
If you get that choice, I should have some sort of choice.
Right.
In a sense, I feel like, and like some situations, I feel like that would be valid.
I completely agree.
Because there's some trifling bitches out there.
Trifling bitches, dude.
That will intentionally poke holes in condoms and like intentionally get pregnant to trap someone.
Yeah.
For 18 years.
I might know one of those people.
So like with that, I don't know. It's weird. There's so many like weird double standards and expectations for men and female. Like, I don't know.
It's hilarious.
It's weird, man.
Yeah.
Life is fucking weird, but so beautiful at the same time. But like the famous Paul Check quote, heaven and hell have the exact same address, right in between your left and right ear. Perspective is key.
Yeah, that's super important. Including but not limited to. I'll say as a caveat.
Why?
Because I don't know for sure. I think that is definitely applicable in the present moment when you're alive on Earth. And then there's the other perspective of heaven and hell, of like, oh, it's a place that's not here, that will be gone to or not in the future.
Yeah.
So I think both are relevant.
Yeah.
And but that being said, when the Bible talks about the kingdom of heaven is at hand, I think it's like it's saying it's here right now. It's accessible right now. It's maybe not all of this place at all times, but it's accessible in this place.
It's just like the Jason Mraz lyric, living in this malleable reality.
Oh man, what?
We're so much more powerful than we realize. I'm really starting to understand that. Like really, really started to understand.
Yeah.
That.
So when you start to understand that, how do you apply it?
Practice. Like I don't really have a teacher or like a mentor of anything. It's just stuff I've kind of like picked up over life. Listening to different audiobooks and podcasts and just being open-minded, and it's just practicing, hearing if this works for some person, trying it, and if it doesn't, just keep
trying what though? What exactly are you doing other than ingesting information and perspective?
It's talking to myself more positively. Again,
okay.
I'm the most important person in my life. Words have power. They're spells. They can build or they can destroy.
So your mindset. So formulating a good mindset is like putting that into practice.
Yeah. I would say so. If I'm it's so many different things layered or said in different ways. It's the law of attraction. It's the kingdom of heaven at hand. It's all of it. If I sit here and focus, I have so much debt and all these bills, and that's the only thing I talk about. That frequency is getting put out, and I'm drawing that to me. I'm creating that reality. That's the kingdom of heaven at my hand. Is fucking bills and debt. If I'm gonna make $1 million annually, and I know it and I believe it, I don't know how I'm gonna get from point A to point B, but I have the faith in the universe, in God and love, that I will get there. I'm putting that frequency out in that vibration, and it's gonna come to me. I'm drawing it to me. It's not gonna happen overnight.
What kind of a ratio do you think that there is that to the other factor being hard work?
Oh, you always got to work hard. You know,
What would you say the ratio is of how much faith do you put in versus how much work do you put in?
I don't know. I've never thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it has to, like, at least be equal. Like, you're not gonna get anywhere without hard work.
Mm-hmm.
You need the hard work, but someone can be a hard worker and have no faith and always complain this isn't gonna work and what am I doing, yada yada yada. You can be a hard worker with all the faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna get there. I don't know how, but it's gonna get there.
I had my first girlfriend. Her mom. She had some issues, but one of the things that I would always hear her say is, "The Lord will provide. The Lord will provide." And she said this like nonstop, but she also never got a job.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like,
I understand your question better. Yeah.
it's like it's not going to work unless you
need both.
Yeah, you have to affect upon your own life through action,
Show that you're worthy of it,
as well as mindset.
Yeah.
Show that you're worthy of it.
Yeah, because if your girlfriend's mom is saying the Lord will provide, but you're not doing anything, who's gonna be more worthy? If they're both saying the Lord will provide, someone who doesn't work or someone who works hard, who do you feel is inherently more worthy of the blessings? The hard worker. Mm-hmm. You driving down the street and you see someone with a blown tire and they're just sitting there not doing anything. I'm going to be way more prone to help someone who's actually pushing the car.
Right.
Right? Because they're putting in the work, they're putting in the effort, and let me help you out too.
I wouldn't push a car with a blown tire,
You
but
know
I think
what
I
the
get
hell
that.
I
I
mean.
think I get the point you're making.
Yeah,
Maybe they're waiting on AAA. Maybe they already put in the work and paid for the insurance so that they can make a call and somebody else comes and does it for them.
You're absolutely right, Andrew.
Hey, I'm just playing. I'm just playing the reverse.
No, that's fair, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
It's like we're more apt to help someone who's willing to help themselves.
Exactly.
And we are the universe. The universe is there. It's God, whatever you want to label it as. I feel like that's more true. It's having that faith and having that hard work. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a combo meal.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's raining.
Dude, it's totally raining or snowing.
Well, where's the snow?
I can't exactly tell. I don't know that I would exactly equate the law of attraction to being the kingdom of heaven, but I don't know that I disagree with that fully either. It's the first time I've heard those things kind of compared, and I get what you're saying when it's like you explained earlier with selling the house and being able to pay off debt for the first time, being completely debt free.
Yeah.
Has moved mountains within you.
Yeah.
And that is a version of being in heaven.
Right.
Because you now feel free.
Right.
And you feel rewarded.
Right.
And so I see that is an aspect of being in heaven.
Yeah.
Of feeling like you're in heaven is being freed of that heavy weight.
Yeah. And I guess to be fair, like, the kingdom of heaven is at your hand. Like, this is more of a newer phrase for me to hear. But there's a lot of things that are worded differently, and they may not mean the exact same thing, but they're saying the same thing. This is a malleable reality. You can change it by how you view yourself. You can change it by how you talk to yourself, how you interact. We are just so much more powerful than we realize, truly. There's a lot that we can accomplish when we put our mind to it. And we have that faith. We have that belief within ourselves and our capabilities and our hard work. And the universe, I don't know. It's weird. It's great. Life is great.
I bet you're grateful.
Super fucking grateful for so much.
Yeah. It's a good place to be. Well,
You know, I was in hell like a month ago. Like, that was my hell that I experienced. And, yeah.
yeah, mine comes and goes week to week. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get these dips, and it just feels, it's just like pure misery and anger and loneliness and, stuff like that
Yeah.
comes up, and it's super strong when it's there. And then, 2-3 days later, I'm not even thinking about it. Don't even really consider that happened, and not in that place at all.
Yeah.
So it really fluctuates with what I'm doing
Right.
during my day.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of like you said, you're free to choose that perspective. And one thing I do is like allow myself to be affected by the choices of others, which I don't have to, but it takes work not to be affected by that.
You know why?
Why what?
Because why it takes work to do that, like why it's so easy to slip into that.
Why?
It's just the muscle memory.
Yeah.
Like, you've been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's something I realized getting out of the house and staying with Chris for the first few weeks in November. There's a lot that I was unnecessarily choosing to hang on to, as far as like negative or like feeling sorry. It's good to feel your shit. If you're feeling sad, frustrated, mad, feel it. Don't hang on to it. Don't cling to it.
Yeah.
A lot of times I was just not realizing I was choosing to hold on to it because I've been doing that for so long. It's easy. It's predictable. My body knows what to expect and how to, like, I guess, navigate it. But it doesn't mean it's healthy. It doesn't mean it's necessary.
What's really interesting about feeling those emotions or allowing those emotions to be felt in like somatically is once they're felt, they're usually gone. Kind of like the I don't know if you've heard the thing about how if an animal gets attacked by a predator but it gets away and survives, it'll like it'll lay down and convulse. And
I've never heard that.
So it's basically what it's doing is like that traumatic moment. It's like shaking it off.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Physically.
Yeah.
And so that it doesn't hold that tension. I think that's what's happening when we allow ourselves to emotionally express freely.
Yeah.
And you could hold on to it, but if you're really allowing it to move out, it'll kind of move out on its own as the emotions are felt. Like digestion.
Right.
It's like you eat the food's going to be digested and move out on its own.
Right.
If you let it. And with the emotion, it's the same thing. It's being digested, and it's going to go away if you let it digest.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for me, for a long time, I was just choosing so long to hang on to it unnecessarily.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, fucking swallow it already. Quit chewing on it.
Yeah.
I was just chewing and chewing and chewing. Like, I don't want to digest. I want to fucking feel the pain. It's like I identified with it. That was part of my identity for so long of who I am. And we don't have to be a slave to who we were. We can become who we want.
Man, that rings some bells.
You know, past couple of days down in Phoenix, talking to a friend, and I could, like, walked into a situation and felt how I would normally react. And it was just my body. So then I was having to, like, work through knowing and telling myself, like, this isn't what I'm choosing, but I'm feeling it. And it was just weird to be so aware of it and not subconsciously slip into that negative, unnecessary shit.
And then start to wonder, why do I feel so horrible right now?
Yeah. And it was great to, like, recognize and see, like, oh, I'm not choosing it. And I know I'm not. When I'm feeling it, that's because my body's so used to it. It's a muscle memory. It's comfortable. It's predictable. But it's not the right choice.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, it helps. Not helps. It's something that you identify yourself as being, oh, this thing pisses me off.
Yeah. Exactly. And I heard that from a Russ quote. You know, don't be a slave to who you were.
Who?
Russ. He's a hip hop artist.
Huh.
Don't be a slave to who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Become who you want.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. I was a slave to my old self for so long, for so much shit.
Yeah. Well, any other notable psychedelic experiences that you'd like to share?
Oh, there's plenty, but I don't think there's the time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, next time we do this, then we'll run through the rest of the the rest of the stories, the psychedelic experience stories, because there's some pretty intense ones I know that you've had, and pretty intense ones that I've had that you know of, and
Yeah.
it's always good to revisit those. I think, kind of go back over the lessons that were pulled from it, or that were found during it. So. Good stuff, man.
There's a few of them that we could share. Like I mentioned earlier, the pool with the train. That was a really great night.
So I don't even know how to describe that, because I really don't remember which song it was and which point in the song.
I don't either. I just know the synchronicity of it was amazing, but just that whole experience was really great.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hopefully, by the next time we do this, we'll have the ability to put that into words that have some kind of an impact, the way that moment had such an impact.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear the story again of you at the Lunar Eclipse Festival.
Oh, yeah. The
Solar Eclipse? There's some festival out of state.
The Oregon Eclipse Music Festival.
There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible experiences during that time. Multiple stories from that trip that I'd love to share, and then the DMT in Sedona.
I was just talking about that the other night.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That was the one and only time out of all my experiences where I was like, I don't want this anymore. I just want it to stop. I just want it to stop. And then it didn't stop.
Yeah. Well, we didn't follow certain rules that should have been followed
for us
during that.
For how we are, I think some people can do it that way. How it was like back to back to back.
Yeah, I guess so.
Good for them, but for us, it was a challenge.
Yeah, so we should tell that one. We'll tell the one about the cabin.
Yeah.
And then the pool and the train.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess I could tell my other one with Matthew in the canyon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was a good one.
Also, another good one was Kaylee's birthday party gathering. Matthew and Kaylee?
Not for me.
Okay.
That was you tell that one.
I
won't really have much to add to it. It's not a great time for me.
Yeah.
But,
I think that was the night that allowed my daughter's mother and I to conceive.
Okay.
And that's a really beautiful experience.
Right on.
It's really good. Man, Andrew, thank you so much for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm glad we were able to get it done.
Yeah, and we shall continue this. I can get a little setup in Utah.
That'd be cool.
And we can do that.
Well, blessings moving up there, and I know it'll be an excellent new beginning.
Yeah, man. I believe that so too. So thank you, bro. I love you.
I love you too, man.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Till next time. Gay.